Uh, okay, I just got disconnected. Okay, hold on. Just wait, I gotta jump back. Just wait a moment. Just wait, okay, there we go. Okay, hello everybody. Today, we're going to be talking about the rise of horror games. Now everybody knows what a horror game is, obviously. It's a whole genre. The horror game is meant for horror. It's supposed to scare you. And they have increased in the rise. You look at games like Doors, Pressure, the biggest on them all, Mimic. All these games, they haven't been around for long if you really think about it. Back then, they weren't so as popular. Well, yeah, they weren't so as popular. They weren't as good as we have it today. And they didn't really explode into the Roblox scene. Let's say back in like 2012, of course, not many people were playing Roblox. Not many people back then were playing Roblox as much as they are now. So let me just skip to like 2017, for example. I feel like there was not many stuff. And it was really bad. Until I feel like there's one special moment that really hit it. COVID. And then, well, COVID-19, I don't know if I can actually say it. But COVID had to, they did not. Actually, will my video get taken down if I say that? Okay, I'm gonna roll with it. But back then, COVID 2020, the virus, obviously, and the world had to go in a pandemic. They had to stay in their houses. So this might have seemed like a bad thing on the surface, because it is. It really is. But that's not the main thing we're talking about. The main thing we're talking about is Roblox. And what is Roblox? Gaming. The gaming industry was popping off for this. I mean, and it was not like anymore. The gaming industry was at its peak. With all this time, all this time to work on their games, all this time with nothing else to do, with kids having no school, they basically had well, actually not no school, but Zoom classes that were like 2 to 3 hours. They had some more time for kids to watch, and that's where the horror genre comes. They popped off, they flourished all their games, and what really set the tone for the horror industry was Mimic. Now, everybody knows what the Mimic is now, but that, I feel like, really set the tone. It really became, like, when you think of horror games, you think of the Mimic. It became so popular that it inspired other games so he can go in and make horror games, and it inspired developers. Now, with that all being said, what I mean by developers, let me just go over some few games that were made over the years after that. Number one, Doors. Doors is a door game. Basically, all you have to do is you're in a hotel, actually. Yeah, let's start with that. You're in a hotel. And you have to go through these doors until you reach door 100. And on the way, you have all these items, and there's different entities that are coming after you. There are different rooms, and they definitely try to get you. Now, I feel like what really makes a horror game so good is really that I think there's three things. Well, actually, two things, because I'm going to talk about three things in one. Well, basically, first one, do you want to go off of trying to scare the person that is playing the game? Or do you want the main factor to be entities going after them? Do you have like monsters? And I feel like if you can cope in both of those factors, you can make a really good game. Like trying to get the player like having a challenge while the player also is scared. That's why the Mimic popped off so much. Because it was such a challenge. It's such a mystery that with the both combined, it was perfect. And number two, which is kind of a problem for horror games, constant updates. It doesn't have to be constant, just consistently. We've seen this for a lot of popular games. It takes some time to update because you got to make the perfect update. But I feel like if you just make that one update, it can make a big difference for your game. I mean, we saw what happened with doors. They added floor 2. Ooh, they had that stretch. They were popping off 30, 40 players. Come on. 30, 40K players. It's great. But let me go back to the other game. Of course, you got Pressure. Now, Pressure is inspired by doors. It basically has the same idea, but kind of a different sense to it. Pressure is a game where you're in some type of, like, you go in a submarine. You're investigating an old place. You're in a submarine. And you travel and go through it with you and your friends. Or you and your group of scuba divers, I should say. And let's try go through it and try to find out what lurks in the place. And try to find as much information as you can without dying. I feel like this is really good. Oh, frick, oh my gosh, bro. So many things are happening. It's not going good for me right now. Device memory's low. Battery's low. Game. My internet connection. Stop when I start this video. But let's not get sidetracked. I'm sure you go with scuba divers. You collect information. And you try not to die. Now, I feel like what makes Pressure such a popular game, they have different stuff too. I feel like it has the better idea apart from doors. I feel like that's one thing. Now, I don't really like Pressure, so I can't beat it, okay? It kind of sucks, but I think it gives off the other idea that makes it good. It makes more sense, because when you play doors, you can't really get like, oh, why are you here, actually? Like, you could always just being at the hotel and play is all fun, but what's the lore? Why are you there? That's what I feel like makes a horror game good. Lore. That's what made Mim so popular, because there's so much lore and in-depth that goes in the game that you can solve. And now if you look at horror games, the horror game genre is worst at the top in 2025. It's been at its best. And I feel like it's only going to get better from here, as devs are only getting better and better. And I feel like with horror games, it's really one of those games that can really just stay at the top. Like, it can just always just stay, not the top, but just stay consistent. But you can't stay